So today we're here with Roberto Monticello. That's how you
doing?
pronounce your name, yes?
Yes. My father was from Italy originally.
Your father was from Italy originally.
Yeah, my father's family fought against Mussolini in Italy, and the ones that survived, they went to Cuba. My mother's family are from Spain, from Granada. My mother's family fought against Franco first, back in 1940, and then they fought against Hitler, and they had to leave Spain. My mother's family went to Cuba, part of it, and the other half went to Paris. And then my father's family, was in Cuba, and my mother and father met in Cuba. 9 months and 5 hours later, I was born.
Well, that's a good way to be born if you ask me.
Yeah, that was very, right to the point. Right, yeah.
But basically you were cosmopolitan even before you got to New York.
Oh yes. I lived in Cuba, mostly in Santiago, the other end of the island.
Yes.
Because my mother and father were performers.
Yes.
My father was in the circus, and my mother was a flamenco dancer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's how it worked, yeah. And eventually they came to New York when I was like 5,
Yeah.
because they were performing in New York at the same time,
Yeah.
and I just stayed in New York. I mean, I loved the village at the time was my center. And I couldn't afford the village, so I ended up moving to the meatpacking because it was cheaper.
Right.
And in the meatpacking district, I stayed.
And that was 1970 something, you said?
74. 1974, that's when we came to the area. My uncle, who was in the circus too, he had a home here. He had right around the corner, he had a 3-bedroom apartment. And he said, whenever you want to stay here, you stay here. Because I never went to school.
Oh, okay.
All my education is tutors.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I never had
Formal
any other
education.
formal education.
Well, thank God. I mean, that's what makes you think differently.
Maybe so. I don't question myself.
Yeah.
I question the world.
Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how the whole thing happened.
Right.
And then because I wanted to live in the village, but I couldn't afford it, so the meatpacking became everything.
Yeah.
And then later I was doing very well, making films, and I got a home in Paris. I got a home in Paris because I had family in Paris to begin with.
Right.
My family had 2 little buildings in Montmartre, which is the artistic area, in the north. And I rented one of the rooms, and they gave it to me because they wanted to keep the buildings in the family.
Right, and amazing. That's a great.
So I have a home in Paris, and then my father's family also got me a place in Roma, and then I have a place in Cuba. So those are my other homes.
Yeah.
But my center is New York.
Yeah. Well.
Here's where I live and work, mostly. Yeah.
And tell us what you're working on right now, because I know you're doing a film about trafficking or something like that.
Human trafficking of children, yeah. This is my 3rd documentary about human trafficking. I did one in Africa, in Nigeria. Then I did one in Western Europe, in Spain, Italy, and France. Mostly young women from the Eastern European countries being brought to New York to Western Europe to be sold for slavery, sexual slavery. Now, but the documentary I'm doing now is about children. Children being kidnapped, children being brought into the country and sold here.
Wow. And how long have you been working on this film?
I started out about 7 months before the pandemic, and then I had to stop during the pandemic, and then I picked it up after the pandemic. So now it would be about over a year now.
Oh, okay.
And I hope to have some kind of final product by February.
That sounds good. I mean, it's a short time, but I guess you're just going to be working for the next few months during the winter.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I'm also finishing a documentary about pro-immigration.
I like that. That's completely counterculture right now because
Yeah.
you hear a lot about anti-immigration, but you hear so very little about
This
people
is
who
the
are
exact
pro-immigration.
opposite.
Yeah.
The contribution to immigrants to the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, but anyway, that's another subject matter, you know.
Yeah.
So those are the two films I'm working on right now. I got other projects, but I cannot touch them until late February or March because I'm doing this one now.
That sounds good. And then I know you're also an award-winning writer and filmmaker. So what were the films like at the Tribeca Film Festival that won the prize and stuff like
It
that?
wasn't at the Tribeca Film
Oh,
Festival.
okay.
I got all over the world. I got 9 awards. The last one was at the Chelsea Film Festival, and that was for a documentary about Cuba. That was exactly 2 years ago.
Wow.
That was my last award.
Okay.
My number 9 award.
Yeah.
But I don't have an Oscar. I have that kind of award, yeah.
Well, what other projects would you say are like the highlights of your career? Because I know you have a lot of films in the past.
Yeah.
But like, what would you say are the best ones or the ones you had the most fun on or stuff like that?
I have fun with every one of them. I put everything I have into every one of them, 100%. I mean, I did a film in Ethiopia about the famine, and that was brutal, but I got a lot out of it. I feel good that I did it because I was able to show it all over the world and make a difference with it. I try to make films that make a difference in the world.
Yes.
That's what I do. And I've been lucky enough to make a living, a fairly good living, doing all of that. You know what I mean? So I consider myself very lucky.
Yes.
Because I don't do Porky. I was offered Halloween number 9.
What does Halloween number 9 mean? The film?
The film, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was about the sperm of Michael Myers becomes a kid and the kid starts killing people. I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? They offered me a lot of money and I couldn't do it. I have to do films that make a difference.
Yeah.
I got other films in development right now. Anti-Semitism in Europe, which is very big. I'm having another film about women's rights, to abortion and so on. I have another film about homelessness, and those are the ones that are going to be developing as I finish this film.
Yeah, they all have a social conscience, which I think is lacking sometimes in our modern day
That's
society.
all I do.
Yeah.
And if I don't do that, I don't do anything.
And the other side about this social justice work are all the companies that pick it up because they think it will make them money. So,
Right.
this is...
They figure there must be an audience for them.
Right.
So far I've been lucky. I've been lucky that I always find, if not the company, investors that say, okay, do this. For example, the one about human trafficking I'm doing now, it's brutal. It's children. Who would do this to children, right? I mean, so I have investors that wanted to come with me and help out because we rescued the children. We have rescued 106 children so far.
Wow. And
You know what I mean?
From where did you rescue them?
From different human traffickers.
In countries? Different countries.
No. From what countries? Mostly Asia and Central America.
Oh, wow.
Those are the main groups. But you have it right here from the United States.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you do.
I mean, and some of these people say, okay, I don't want to get involved because it's too dangerous dealing with the trafficker, but they contribute money. That's how I continue working on them.
Right. I'm just taking a look at the questions I have here for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
We talked a little bit about the trafficking and the pro-immigration. And what about something fun? I know you were a big part of the community board here, and you said something about you needing to start a new board again about the arts. Tell us about the mayor of the meatpacking, and then we'll get to the other.
I've been called the mayor for like 40 years by people on the street because I've been in the neighborhood for 47 years now. I mean, so I've been called the mayor forever. 30 years ago, 1991 to be exact, the community board, people in the community board came to me. I said, Roberto, we need somebody young because the community board, everybody's 60, 70, 80, 90. So, if they're still alive, there will be at least 100. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the community board came to me and said, we need somebody young. I was the only young person,
Right.
So they said, will you be our representative to 5 real estate developments? That's because the community board found out that the plans for the area, for the meat packing, when the meat packers started living, they started living one after the other,
Right.
was to do Hudson Yards here.
Yeah.
So instead of 3 towers like up there, they wanted to do 7 towers here and take down all the little buildings.
Wow.
So I went to court, you know what I mean? I went to court. I went to Mayor Bloomberg when he started. Bloomberg was very supportive, and I went, so I've been fighting for the community. And then over here on the river, where the piers are, they wanted to do Battery Park City number 2.
Oh, wow, a whole other housing development.
Yeah, instead of Little Island and, and a park for kids, no, they wanted to do Battery Park City number 2.
Wow.
So there I go. I went to court, the whole thing.
Wow.
So the community board, because the people were so old in the community board, they could not say the representative of the community board. They would just say the mayor.
Right.
So I became more and more the mayor, and that was it. They started writing articles about me. I'm all over the internet. At one point, Google said that I had the number 7 most Google websites in New York. I mean, I think they meant that month or that year or whatever. But that's what they sent me an email, said you are number 7 most Google website in New York as the mayor of Meatpacking.
Amazing.
But I'm in a lot of other websites.
Yes, and with the idea you had for the current project for the area, the Meatpacking Arts District, what is that about?
It makes perfect sense. This area is commercial. Here you do not compete with housing. This is a neighborhood you do not compete with housing because this is a commercial area. Every big city in the world has an arts district, except New York. Except New York. It's the only one that doesn't have an arts district.
Well, we have several arts districts.
Yeah, but not officially, not protected by the law.
Right.
You know what I mean? To give you an example, Miami, which is brain dead, has an art. Has an arts district. The places went, brain dead. Once you go there for Art Basel, but that's it. After Art Basel, it's a cultural wasteland. You know what I mean? And they have an arts district.
Well, maybe they need the arts district because it's a cultural wasteland, so they have to make some place for people to actually come.
Maybe that's what they're trying to do.
And that art is all over New York, so then to make a district might not make sense. But I agree with you. There should be a culturally designated space where people do come to. I mean, I think when people do that, perhaps it waters down the district so that it gets to be a little kitschy after a while. But you're right. There should be something. I mean, even just having the Whitney here where we're sitting, that's
the Whitney can be like an anchor.
Yeah, for the district. Yeah.
Like an anchor. I mean. But think about it, 62%, according to the papers, right? 62% of the real estate in the area is empty. And it's not going to improve that much. Yeah, New York will come back, because New York always come back. But I mean, still, it's not going to be, what it was before. There's empty spaces everywhere. And half of the spaces that are rented are pop-ups. I mean, they're there for 3 months, they're here for 6 months.
They're gone.
And then they're gone. So this is the perfect thing to do. You do the arts district, then the landlord, if they rent to galleries, performing spaces, cultural institutions, and they don't rent it for much money, then they will be able to get some kind of tax, break.
Well, I think they're getting tax breaks with the real estate empty too. I mean, I had a discussion about that with a friend post-pandemic. Well, we're not really post-pandemic, but we asked what's going to happen to all these empty spaces after the pandemic, and we realized that some of them like to keep them empty.
Yeah, but I mean, big tax breaks.
Big tax breaks. Yeah, well, I would like to see those incentives.
And tax breaks that will last for a long time.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, and it would be great for business. It would be great, for everything.
Well, the
I
whole
mean-
thinking around real estate has to change, and I'm not sure if it's going to change unless there are, like you said, these big tax incentives. That's the only thing that would.
That's what it
because
had
if
to be. It had to
yeah.
be declared an arts district.
Yeah.
For that to happen, like what they call Wingwood.
Wingwood, yes.
You know what I mean? People get a tax break just to rent an apartment.
Yeah.
I mean, so have that here,
Yeah.
just in the meatpacking district, which is actually fairly small, right? Fairly small neighborhood. Why not? We need that.
Yeah.
It would be a great. And now with the Whitney here, you know what I mean? Right here.
Well-
And you see that?
Right.
1, 2, 3, and empty spaces.
This used to be a gallery here, I guess. Or this one is still a gallery, but it's
It's
not
still
there
a gallery,
anymore.
yeah. But you go after the pizza place, three places empty. You know what I mean? You go around the corner, 3 places empty.
Yeah.
You go around the other corner again. You have an arts district. People will be able to rent for much less. And then the landlord will still make the money.
Right.
You know.
But tell us again, because I'm going to wrap up soon. Our time is almost up. Where can we see your films? Like, if we had to see one of your past films, where could we find it online, or do we have to rent it somewhere? How does it work?
No, you let me know and I'll give you a copy.
Oh wow! So we could just
Yeah.
find you on your website.
Yeah, I mean,
RobertoMonticello.com.
I don't follow where they go.
Right.
Once they leave me, it's like when
Like
women,
children or women.
It's like if women leave me, they don't.
Yeah. Right.
They never do. But if they were to leave me, then they go on their own.
So what's the website called? Your website?
RobertoMonticello.com.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So anyone can get in touch with you
Yeah,
there.
I mean, yeah.
Hopefully
And
we'll
if
be
they
able
don't find them there, I'll give you a copy.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Well, thank you for making the time today.
Absolutely.
And I wish you the best for the winter to get all
Right.
this wonderful work done.
Yes.